All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into an idea that is, well, it's pretty out there. We're talking about consciously engineering an entire language. Specifically, what would it take to give the German language a complete, top-to-bottom overhaul? I mean, really think about that for a second. We're not talking about just letting language evolve on its own, the way it always has. We're talking about someone actively stepping in and designing it to be better, more precise, more expressive, maybe even more powerful. Is that even possible? That's the fascinating thought experiment we're jumping into today. A general overhaul. That phrase says it all, doesn't it? This isn't about adding a few new cool words here and there. Nope. This is a full-on, top-to-bottom renovation of an entire national language. It is an absolutely audacious vision, and it just begs the question, where in the world would you even start a project that massive?
Okay, so let's get into the why. What's the ultimate goal here? Well, the vision is all about chasing this dream of, linguistic perfection.
Just imagine a language where you never, ever have to say, oh, you know what I mean? Because you always have the exact perfect word for every little subtle shade of a thought or a feeling. And this isn't just some academic exercise for linguists. A change this big, this profound, would literally reshape everything, from art and literature to science and just our everyday conversations.
So, if the goal is to find the perfect word for everything, where do you get them? Well, the plan here relies on this really fascinating two-pronged approach. It's about looking both inward and outward. So, here's the strategy. On the one hand, you've got this kind of linguistic archaeology, right? Digging into Germany's own past to bring back these forgotten treasures. And then, on the other hand, it's a global expedition. It's about searching the entire world for the most powerful and unique concepts that other languages have come up with.
And get this, the potential from just looking back it's staggering. Experts think there are up to 15,000 German words that have just been lost to time. We're not talking about a handful of weird old words here. That's basically the entire vocabulary of a smaller language, just sitting there in the archives, waiting for someone to bring it back to life. It's incredible.
Okay, but then you look outward, and the potential just explodes. Imagine systematically combing through thousands of languages all over the world to find 50,000 unique concepts. Words for feelings and ideas that German, right now, just can't say in a single term. It's like tapping into this massive planetary reservoir of human thought. The scale is just immense.
Okay, a grand vision is one thing, right? But how would you actually pull something like this off? Well, believe it or not, there's a pretty detailed 10-year blueprint.
First things first, you'd need a serious operational backbone. We're talking a brand new language institute to act as the command center. And it wouldn't work alone, of course. It would have to team up with the big players. Established authorities like Duden, Germany's definitive dictionary, and the Goethe Institute, which is its cultural ambassador to the world. And the engine room for all of this? A massive digital database powered by AI tools. But, and this is crucial, it would also need an open platform to let the public, regular people, chip in with their own suggestions. And this whole thing wouldn't be some rush job. It's a carefully planned 10-year rollout. It kicks off with 2 or 3 years of just pure research and collection. Then comes the really hard part, sifting through everything and picking the best candidates. After that, you'd have to standardize the grammar and spelling, run a public test phase to get feedback, and only then would you start to gradually introduce the new words into schools and the media.
Yeah, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And honestly, that is the perfect way to put it. A project of this scale absolutely requires strategic patience and a real long-term commitment. It's all about building something that's going to last for generations, not just making a quick splash.
But as you can imagine, an undertaking this massive is bound to run into some huge challenges. And the two biggest hurdles aren't just about logistics. They're about money and, maybe even more fundamentally, about philosophy.
So let's start with the price tag. The 10-year program is estimated to cost around 30 million euros. Now, a number that big makes one thing crystal clear. Without some serious, widespread buy-in from both politicians and the public, this whole vision, it stays just that, a vision. But, as big a challenge as the money is, the real difficulty lies somewhere else. It's in this fundamental clash of worldviews, a debate about what a language even is and where its real richness comes from.
And here's the core conflict. On one side, you've got the purists. They argue that true linguistic wealth has to come from a language's own historical roots.
It has to be authentic, grown from its own soil. But on the other side, you have the internationalists, and they believe the only way to really thrive is to be open to adopt the best ideas and concepts from all around the globe. Trying to bridge that philosophical gap, that would probably be the project's single greatest challenge.
So, after digging into this massive, incredibly ambitious vision, let's bring it all the way back down to a personal level. Let's make this about your experience. Just think about it for a second. After everything we've talked about, what's the one thing you've always struggled to say? That specific feeling, that complex idea, that precise observation that you've just never found the perfect word for in your own language. What is it? Because that single missing word, that might just be the best place for a project like this to start.